21 Harry Potter spells starting with A. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over 21 Harry Potter spells starting with A. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 1. Aberto. Aberto is the incantation of a charm which opens doors. On December 7, 1926, Queenie Goldstein tried to use this spell to gain entry to the office of Percival Graves after a regular unlocking charm failed to work. However, this spell also failed, leading Queenie to speculate that Graves had locked the door with an advanced charm. Number 2. Age Line. The age line was a charm used to prevent people above or below a specified age from accessing a specific object or place. On October 30th, 1994, Headmaster Albus Dumbledore used this spell on the Goblet of Fire in the Great Hall of Hogwarts Castle to restrain underage students from placing their names within the goblet for the Triwizard Tournament. Anyone under the age of 17 was forbidden from entering. He then traced a thin golden line with a 10-foot diameter on the floor around the goblet to show how far out the enchantment reached. Number 3. Alarte Ascendare. Alarte Ascendare was the incantation of a charm used to launch an object up into the air. Gilderoy Lockhart used this spell non-verbally in an attempt to dispose the snake which Draco Malfoy had conjured during the first dueling club meeting in 1992. However, his efforts proved to be futile as the spell merely caused the serpent to fly upwards, which only aggravated it further. Hermione Granger used this spell again 5 years later to prevent the serpent Nagini from attacking Harry Potter at Bathilda Bagshot's home in Godric's Hollow. Number 4. Alohomora Duo. Alohomora Duo was the incantation of a stronger variation of the unlocking charm, a spell which unlocked doors and other locked objects, but was unclear in how it was stronger. Number 5. Amplifying Charm. The amplifying charm was a charm that could be used to amplify the targeted sound, be it a person's voice or a piece of equipment. This charm was particularly useful for amplifying one's voice, although using it on oneself for a long period of time will result in hoarseness thereafter. When using the charm on an inanimate object, one must simply point their wand at the device and either verbally or non-verbally incite the incantation. Number 6. Anapneo. Anapneo was the incantation of a healing spell that cleared the target's airway by vanishing whatever the target was choking on. On September 1, 1996, Horace Slughorn used this spell on Marcus Belby after he began to choke on a bite of pheasant when he tried to answer a question too fast. Number 7. Animagus Spell. The Animagus Spell was a transfiguration spell used in the process of becoming an Animagus. While the incantation was necessary for the process, it was not all that was needed to become an Animagus, with the full process requiring skills in transfiguration and potions, and also a remarkable amount of patience. The incantation had to be recited at sunrise and sundown every day before the consumption of the Animagus potion. The incantation was also recited just prior to the consumption of the potion, which had to take place just after a lightning storm started. The incantation was recited while placing the wand's tip over one's heart. As the potion could only be consumed during a lightning storm, prospective Animagi might have to recite the incantation for weeks, months, and even years. Failure to adhere to the daily recitations of the incantation would result in failure of becoming a fully functional Animagus, though the precise consequences were unclear. Number 8. Animagus Reversal Spell. The Animagus Reversal Spell was an untransfiguration spell that returned an Animagus back to their human form. This spell was used in the spring of 1994 by Sirius Black and Remus Lupin to reveal Ronald Weasley's pet rat Scrabbers as Peter Pettigrew in the Shrieking Shack, exposing his true hidden identity to Ron, Harry Potter, and Hermione Granger. Number 9. Annihilare. Annihilare was the incantation of a door-opening spell. The topmost cell of the Dark Tower was charmed to resist this spell. Number 10. Anteoculatia. Anteoculatia was the incantation of a hex that grew antlers on the head of the target. Gilbert Wimple from the Committee on Experimental Charms had this spell used on him, as he had large horns growing from his head before the 1994 Quidditch World Cup. In 1996, after Fred and George Weasley's dramatic exit from Hogwarts, Pansy Parkinson was hit with this spell, presumably in retaliation for the fact that she and other members of the Inquisitorial Squad had been helping Argus Flitch to crack down on the sudden increase in rule-breaking. The next day, Pansy had to miss all her classes, which pleased Hermione Granger. Number 11. Apparition. Apparition was a magical form of transportation in which the user traveled instantly from one location to another without traversing the space in between. This was accomplished by having the user focus on a desired location in their mind, and then purposely disappearing from where they were to reappear at the desired location. Apparition was by far the fastest way to get to a desired destination, but was tricky to pull off correctly and disastrous if botched. The ability to apparate was a relatively advanced skill for wizards, but other magical creatures were capable of disappearing and reappearing of their own volition as well, such as house elves and diricals. Number 12. Aqua Eructo Charm. The Aqua Eructo Charm is a charm that can be used to create a spout of water from the tip of the wand. The intensity of the water flow can be anything from a thin fountain to an immense, powerful, and destructive jet. While impersonating Alistair Moody throughout the 1994-1995 school year, Bartimus Crouch Jr. provided extra lessons for his 4th years on the charm, among other spells in his Defense Against the Dark Arts classes. Information on this spell can be found in a certain spellbook, a copy of which was used by Barty Crouch Jr. in his Dada lessons to help teach his students the spell. Number 13. Area Spell. The Area Spell is a charm used to conjure an omnidirectional shockwave that stuns all opponents in a small radius. Number 14. Armchair To Human. This spell counteracted the spell to turn a human into an armchair and was used by Albus Dumbledore in August of 1996 on Horace Slughorn. Number 15. Arresto Momento Duo. Arresto Momento Duo was the incantation of a stronger variation of Arresto Momentum, a spell which slowed down or stopped a moving or falling object. It was possibly twice as strong as normal Arresto Momento. Number 16. Arrow Shooting Spell. The Arrow Shooting Spell was a transfiguration spell which conjured shooting arrows from the caster's wand. The spell was often used by Appleby Arrows supporters at Kidditch matches to show their support for their teams. However, the British and Irish Kidditch League headquarters banned the use of the spell at matches when referee Nugent Potts was pierced through the nose with a stray arrow in 1894. This spell was also often used by students at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry who were members of the dueling club against their opponents in duels. Number 17. Ascendio. Ascendio was the incantation of a charm which flung the caster high into the air. The charm also worked underwater, propelling the caster above the surface. Newt Scamander used this spell in September 1927 on a library record column in the Library of the French Ministry of Magic in an attempt to help him. Porpentia Goldstein and Lita Lestrange escaped from a pack of Madagots set upon them. Number 18. Atmospheric Charm. The atmospheric charm was a type of weather-modifying charm which was used to create certain weather conditions indoors. It could be removed with Meteorologinx Recanto. The famous magizoologist Newton Scamander was known to have cast various highly intricate and powerful atmospheric charms in his magically expanded suitcase, which he used to house his various magical creatures to create weather conditions suitable to the habitats of individual creatures in order to adequately house them. During the height of the Second Wizarding War, when Lord Voldemort was in control of the British Ministry of Magic, several atmospheric charms in the ministry malfunctioned, causing rain in offices. It caused these effects in Betchley's office and in the office of the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, Corbin Yaxley. Betchley successfully removed it himself, while Yaxley assigned Reginald Cattermole, who happened to be actually Ron Weasley in disguise, to repair the charm. Number 19. Avenseguim. Avenseguim is the incantation of a charm that turns a target into a tracking device. In 1927, Newt Scamander used this spell to track the origins of a feather, a clue found during his search for Tina Goldstein, back to Yusuf Kama, whose hat the feather came from. Number 20. Aviatus. Aviatus was the incantation of a charm that forced a target to fly if it was able to. Number 21. Avifors Spell. The Avifors Spell was a transfiguration spell that transformed small objects into birds. The Avifors Spell could at times be a very complicated spell, and some beginning Hogwarts students were known to struggle with it. One student nearly failed the class when he proved unable to transform objects into anything more than eggs. His cousin bragged about this. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.